in pandas. So the whole idea of sort values is similar to sort in Python. It sorts values either in ascending or descending order. The only difference here in sort values is you're not going to use keys as reverse equals true or false. Instead of using it as reverse equals true or false, we will use it as ascending equals true or false. That's the only difference. Because let's remember this entire package is not written by Python developers. It's other developers. It's third-party developers which we use. Hence, some of the usage of it will be different than default Python. So I want to have this value in descending. So I'm just going to write ascending equals false and run it. There we go. Normal type Pokemon have the worst defense. Steel Pokemons have the best defense, on the other hand. You can run this or you can perform this whole operation in one line as well, and I'll show you how to do it. We are grouping by type 1 first. The moment we have grouped by type 1, immediately we are then calculating in this group data. I need to take defense and I need to find the mean of this defense. After I calculate the mean of this defense, I'll get a series to which I need to then calculate sort values that we are doing here. You can do this entire operation in one single line like this. And this is when the first time you look at any pandas tutorial or any tutorial of pandas or polars, it might become complex to understand. Like, hey, I wanted to just learn group by, but how do I understand everything with just this one line? That's because we often don't do this separately by storing in different variables. In many tutorials, you might see it. We often don't divide it in this order. We just write it in one simple line of code. So we are performing group by type 1. Once we have grouped by type 1, within that group, we are accessing that column defense, calculating the mean of it, we'll get a series that we are just accessing in descending order. This is how you perform group by. You can perform a lot of different group by operations with this. You can try a lot of things out, and yeah, that's something you can figure out. If you want to get to know this, you can try it out. Now, here's the next question I have for you. Let's say I want to know which group of Pokemon is the slowest, or which type of Pokemon is the slowest. This is what I want to know. Simple question. Given this, just try modifying it very little. Let's see if we can work around this. Similar to this, the query now is figure out which type of Pokemon is the slowest. A very simple and easy query for us to work around. This is something I'm just going to provide now for us to work around. So you can try this out. Let's see if you're able to. Meanwhile, since we got to know how to perform this sorting and grouping all in one simple example to begin with, I'll just take two very small examples ahead and move on to the next part. But prior to that, if there are any queries, feel free to let me know. If none, we'll move ahead. So yeah, I'll just ask you to take a few seconds of time. If any queries, meanwhile, please feel free to let me know. Right, so no queries. All right, so let's move ahead. Now, moving ahead, I just want to show very two quick examples. Should not take more than a couple of minutes before we end this and start our sales data analysis. So let's quickly take a couple of examples. One way is, let's say I want to sort all the Pokemon based on their attack. Let's start with this. So all I need to do is df of or df is our data frame dot. Remember previously we applied sort values on a series. You can also apply sort values on a data frame. When you apply sort values on a data frame, you need to specify which column are you sorting by. I want to sort specifically by which column attack. So let's specify sort values based on attack. Once you run this, you get to see it's sorted based on attack, but it's sorting based on attack in ascending order. I want it to be in descending order. So I'm just gonna specify, comma, ascending equals false. Now, here's the next part of this. Here's the next thing that we just need to know. When we are sorting these values over here, you get to see where's the attack value? Yeah, here we go. There are multiple Pokemon that have attack value of 180. When they are equal, when the attack value is equal, when we are sorting them in a descending order, I want them to be sorted in such a way that it sorts them based on their alphabetical order in ascending. So here's the thing. Sort all the values based on their attack in descending order. Another case is when their attack is the same, then we're going to sort them based on their sorry, when their attack value is the same, then sort them based on their alphabetical or based on their name in ascending alphabetical order. So this is what we want to do. This is exactly what we want to try out and work around. So let's try this out. In order to perform this, in order to perform this simple operation where we need to sort attack from higher to lower value, we already have it done. We already have done that. However, for us to sort the other value, that is for us to sort name in descending order, we need to specify two columns here, and we need to specify two different things. That is, we need to specify that we are sorting attack in descending order, and at the same time, we are sorting um, name in ascending order. This is what we want to specify. So let's see how we specify that. When you have multiple columns to sort with, use it in a list. First priority is attack. Second priority, when attack is equal, when attack is same, we have to perform a slightly different task. That is, we have to use name. This is what we want to do. Now, in our current case scenario, ascending should also be written in a list indicating these columns. So for attack, ascending should be false, and for name, ascending should be true. This is what we want to do. This is exactly what we're going to do. Now, if you take a look at this, when attack is 180, you can see it's in ascending order, D and then G and then R. This is what we have here. So this is just for our reference to know how it works, to know how we get to run this. So you can try out sorting multiple things similarly as well. Now, let's move ahead to the next case. Now, the final thing we are gonna I think the final thing, this should be enough to begin with. We can go ahead to the next part, which is analyzing our sales data. We can start ahead. So I'm just gonna close this up and I'm gonna create a new markdown that is sales data analysis. And this is the next thing we're gonna begin with. So if there are any queries still here, please feel free to let me know. If none, we'll go ahead and begin sales data analysis right now. And I'll just take a few seconds expecting you to kindly ensure that you have this sales data downloaded. The sales data should have 12 files. Please have them downloaded right away because we're going to start working on these. Please take a few seconds if required. I'll just be on mute. Um, Simultaneously, if you have any queries on it so far, you can ask as well. If none, just let me know based on this, and we will continue ahead. Please take a minute or two if required on this. So, hey everyone. So I hope you all can hear me now, hopefully. I hope there's no issue. Okay. Just as a request, if you ever face any issue from my end, please just speak out through your mic if you're able to. Um, in case because for some reason I'm not getting notifications here within the Teams window. So notifications as in I'm not getting notification sound specifically. So that's one thing that I'm facing when it comes down to this. So if there are any difficulties you face, please speak out in this case. And I'm unsure how the microphone just got disconnected all of a sudden. So yeah, I will check on that on my end. Though it is wireless, it should not happen. So yeah, I'll just figure that out later. Let's move ahead. Hopefully, I was not on mute for too long, was I? Or any such? Can you let me know where we stopped so I can continue ahead from there? So any such information will be very helpful if anybody
I,
can
th-
know.
I think you had just stepped away, and when you came back, the audio disconnected. So the first thing I saw was the Excel moving, and then I noticed there was no audio.
Okay, all right. So I'll just redo it from there. Thanks for letting me know. So we have the following sales data that we have. That is sales data for one whole year of an organization. These are monthly divided values. So you have April, so from January to December, you've got all the months of data. And for each of this file, you have the following information. You have order ID, and immediately you get to see there are some null values as well for our reference. You've got order ID, which product was bought with this order ID, how much quantity of it was bought, and what is the price of each quantity. So we don't know the total price for this order. That needs to be calculated by multiplying these together, like C2 times D2, which will give me the total quantity I had here. And then we have the date on which it is ordered. Now remember, the date is going to be a string. So if you want to perform any analysis on the date, you have to convert it to a date time object. That's the first thing we would need to do. After that, we have the purchase address. There's a common theme in purchase address. That is, you have the street, comma, the city, comma, the pin code, state and pin code. So in everywhere you have the same combination. So we can separate it by comma. We'll have the street first, then the city, then the state, and the pin code for reference. So this is the data we have. We also see that certain order IDs are repeated because there were multiple products that were bought with a single order ID. In this case, two products were bought with this particular order ID. We can see such um, data here as well for our reference. With this information, here's what we need to do. We have to take all these 12 Excel files, all these 12 files, and we first have to combine them together to a single file. That's our first task. Combine um, the data frames to a single data frame. Once we combine the data frames to a single data frame, we can perform analysis throughout the year, like which week, which year, or um, which month, whatever it is. We can easily perform analysis if we combine this together into a single file. And that's the first thing we need to do. So prior to this, I need you to have this file. I hope everybody is already having this file. Also, if anybody does not, you can directly access this from the Google Drive. We have it directly there. And yeah, we're going to get started from this. Right. So let's begin. So the first two steps, please take a look at them. We'll begin these steps in the next few seconds. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. Now, first things first, in our case, we want to combine all the data frames to a single data frame. Let's do that. For this, we are going to use knowledge that we have already learned. Let's remember, I'm going to import OS module. And after importing OS module, I'm going to get my current working directory. You get to see that the current working directory is 06 underscore pandas. This is the current working directory. Once we get the current working directory, I need to go within sales data and list all the files that are there within it. So let's go to sales data. Let me use os.list.dir of dot slash sales. Remember, dot is the current directory. Within current directory, I have a directory called sales data. That, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. I have to use either double slash when we do this, or the other way of slash, either one of them. So this is for reference, we can do it either way. So you can get to see when I enter sales data directory, I have 12 files available here. And I get to see the information of all 12 files. This is pretty clearly available. Now, in our current case, these 12 files, I need to read each one of them, combine them to a single file. That's what I have to do. So let's start with that. To combine them all together to a single file, here's what we're going to do. There are two ways to do it. One way is to create an empty data frame. After creating an empty data frame, keep appending or adding each data frame to it. Or another way is to read first data frame separately and then add all data frames to that first data frame we read. So you can perform this in either of the ways. That's totally up to you. That's totally your choice. You can perform it in either one of these ways, just so you know. You can read the first data frame separately, and then you can combine all the remaining, or you can read all data frames within a single conditional statement as well. That is what we want to do. That is what we're going to do. Now, let's go ahead and begin with this. Again, I hope all of you are able to have these files and perform these operations so far. I hope that is all right. So can you let me know with just a thumbs up or something if that is fine with everyone? So you can work along this simultaneously with me. All right, I hope everybody has access to this. But however, if you would like to maybe get access, or if you'd like me to walk through this once again and provide access to it, please feel free to let me know. I'll do that. That should be fine. Now, the best way to do it is always to have an empty data frame. That is a better way to do than reading one data frame and reading the other data frames. This looks more professional as well. So let's create an empty data frame. To create an empty data frame, I'm just going to call this as df. Df will be our final data frame, or sales df. This will be our final data frame. I'm going to create an empty data frame. So if you print sales df, you'll get to see it's an empty data frame as it directly states. So we've got our empty data frame. After getting our empty data frame, here's what we need to do. We have to go through each one of these files. So what I'm going to do here is I have to go through each one of these files. Now, here's the catch. When I go through each one of these files, there's one condition. Please remember this condition very carefully. When I perform list dir, I performed list directories in dot slash sales, not in the current directory. So this file, let's say april.csv that we have, is not in our current directory. I have to add dot slash sales slash and then take this file name. That's how I have to read it. Because based on my current directory, I have to first enter sales directory, then I can use these files. So this is going to be our list of files. So I'll just call this as file names. Let's store it here. Once I have list of files in file names, what I need to do here is for each file in file names. For every single file name that we have within this, I need to read that file. To read that file, I need to take dot slash sales slash plus 5. So let me just print this so that you get to see the entire string. Let's see what happened here. Oh, of course, yes. So you get to see that it prints dot slash sales slash this, but it doesn't exist. So let me just make this as sales space, sorry, sales underscore data. Once you run this, you get this. If you click on any of these, you'll open this file. So we are able to see that we can access this file from our current directory by getting into sales data and then opening that file. Once we have this, we need to use this path and open this as a data frame. So let's open this as a data frame. Df equals pandas dot read. Now observe this. This is not an Excel file. This is a CSV file. So I need to read this as a CSV file. Let's read this as a CSV file. And once we have read this as a CSV file in DF, I need to add DF to sales DF. To add this to sales DF, we have a very simple operation that we can perform. The simple operation we need to perform in order to just, again, I'm terribly sorry. I'll just keep my cat aside. I'm so sorry. Please hold on for a few seconds. Right, again, very sorry for the slight delay. I'm terribly sorry for the slight delays. Um, Again, do not expect this to happen on an average basis. So yeah, let's just move ahead very quickly. Now, here's what we have. Um, Let me cross verify my mic just in case. Yeah, it works. Right. So here's what we have. Once we have all of these files, we need to add them to sales df. To add a file or to add a data frame and merge it with another data frame, we have some functions available within pandas. And if you go to pandas.pydata.org, this particular website or web page, this is the official web page of pandas. They have a cheat sheet somewhere within their web page, which is really good to learn. I'll just search. Yeah, there we go, pandas cheat sheet. This is an amazing PDF file to learn everything. So I'm just going to copy this and paste this here. This one PDF file is going to help you with every single function or operation that you want to do on top of pandas. So if you have this, you can remember pretty much everything. Now let's see what we need to do. This is what we need to do in our case. We need to use the function called concat. We need to append rows of one data frame to another data frame. You get to see here there are two data frames. We are combining them like this. That's what we need to do. And we have sales df as a data frame. Initially, sales df is an empty data frame. We have to take the first data frame, add it, it becomes this. Then we have to take second data frame, add it, it becomes like this, and so on. We need to create this very long data frame. Now, there are two ways to do it. When you add a data frame, you can add it horizontally or you can add it vertically. We need to add it vertically because every single file of ours has the same columns, that is order ID and so on, all the other things. They have the exact same thing. So that's exactly what we are gonna try to perform. Let's do that. Now,